Hello, hello, Dima. What's going on?
Hello, my friend.
Happy Wednesday evening to you.
Happy Wednesday for you. I see all the nice suntan. You got more suntan than last week.
It's just, yeah. I was out of town at the beach. I got a little more sun than I normally would.
Good.
There's something about being outside just kind of changes your attitude.
Right.
Yeah. How are you doing? It's been a week.
I know. I had such a good day. We had that event for influential women in business for the business report.
Yes.
And it was live with 400 people. What were they thinking? 400 people with no mask, and everybody wanted to hug. So I was just doing this. I was doing this, like, don't come close. I know. Well, I'm so happy that we had a live event. I'm just so shocked that we had 400 people. I think it's too soon for that.
It's just how influential some of these women can be, though. Just saying, you were one of them.
I know.
And then that's quite a difference in, from before, from last year to this year's event. But people are ready to get out. I mean, it's coming full force. I was even reading something about the honor system and how well that's working right now. But I don't know. It's good to see people. It's challenging the way we've sort of been behaving for a while. It's still good to make those relationships. Hopefully we can still stay safe.
Well, yeah, I hope I don't have COVID after today. And we just lost Rob. Okay, so until Rob joins us, I am excited to announce our guest for today, who is absolutely wonderful. And her name is Megan Kelly. So let's get Megan Kelly on the show until Rob joins. Hello, Megan.
Hello, how are you?
Great. I'm so happy you're joining us. And I know our viewers are going to absolutely love you. So you and I, we met once, and I was so impressed from the first meeting that we had. So go ahead, Megan. Tell us about yourself.
Hey, well, I hope that you and everyone else are doing well. It has been quite the week. I guess in the last year or so, we've all gotten used to just getting crazy stuff just thrown at us, and yet one more thing. So my best wishes, my prayers to everyone out there who could be possibly suffering and dealing with all this flood stuff going on. We're doing well over here. So who am I? So my name's Megan Coward Kelly. And like I said, I had the privilege to meet you just a few weeks ago at the best coffee ever downtown. That was really, really nice and lovely. I am a brandologist. That's what I like to call myself. I'm a brandologist.
Wow. I love that. Yeah.
Yes, brandologist. So basically, if you're starting a business, I am the best friend that you could ask for because I can help you build that brand. I also have another business, really a group. It's my heart's passion. It is the Mompreneur Nation, and it is an international group. Started locally. It used to be Baton Rouge Mompreneurs, but it is now an international group with just over 2,000 women. And we have local meetups. We encourage each other. We connect, we email, we support each other. We have a directory. It's called there'samomforthat.com. Really neat. Wow. So if you need anything, you're looking for something, there'samomforthat.com. This directory, you can find you a nice mompreneur and have your services met and also support small businesses and moms.
Wow. I love There's a Mom for That. So tell me what kind of services or products are they offering?
We have so many moms, and that's the best thing about it because there's so many that do different things. We had one mom that joined today. She and her husband run a tattoo parlor. Then we have several photographers. We have makeup artists. We have realtors. We basically have cleaners. We have organizers. Basically anything that you possibly could need. There is a mom for that.
Wow. Well, we're getting some love for you. Look at that emoji with the hearts. I love it. And somebody is sharing there's a momforthat.com.
There's a momforthat.com. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait for us to discuss that, but let's go to the basics. Tell us about yourself.
So I am a mom. Obviously, I'm also a wife, a wonderful, wonderful husband. His name is Trey. I have 3 sweet children, 2 girls, Cadence, Kinsley, and Zachary, who is 6 months old. So he came last year in November, and he has just rocked our world. He's just the biggest hunk of love ever. I've become like a professional girl mom and didn't know how I was going to do the boy mom thing, but it's worked out perfectly, and it's really, really great. I have lived in the Baton Rouge area my entire life. And grew up, went to a wonderful school in high school, same school my whole life, which is interesting these days to be able to say that. Started in preschool and I finished in high school. That was fantastic. Wonderful friends, great connections. I will say we had a nice talk. It was, I would say, a sheltered might be a good word for it. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. You know, when I went to college, there's so many people. It was exciting. It was wonderful, and really got connected with a lot of people. Started at community college, Baton Rouge Community College, and then went to LSU, and then went on to Southern University and finished there in broadcast journalism. So very.
So I agree when you talked about the shelter, because most likely it did not prepare you for the real world. There's nothing wrong with that, but because I see it from my world. I went to private school, but I did not feel that it prepared me to the demands of the world and for the relationships and for work and all of that.
That's very, very much the case. Very true. And, you know, when I started school, I would say I'm a very happy, outgoing person, a lot of naivety, you know, there. Got involved in a relationship, and it's you and I, the kids in the background, so we'll just.
We love that. We love it.
There's no telling. I'm just going to give you the warning. There's just no telling what could pop up, happen, anything at all. So just fair warning. Hey, Rob.
Hey, fair warning. I'm going to be in and out apparently tonight.
Love it. I love it. Well, it's good to have you back.
Sorry to barge in like that. I usually knock.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. We're just having a wonderful, wonderful chat. But when I got into school, you know, I met a lot of people. One of the relationships that I got into was wonderful. At the beginning, you know, this is one of those things that you and I talked about, you know, and similar experiences with abuse. And this relationship was great. It seemed wonderful at first. And really things didn't go bad or anything until I'd say a good 2 years into the relationship. And that's when the abuse actually happened. Interestingly enough, though, because I am a very confident person, and I would say when I got out of high school, I would make the same statements that most people would say, oh, that would never happen to me. I'm not that kind of person, whoever that kind of person is. You know, those are the things that I would have assumed of myself, you know, don't we all? But it was the little things that would come in, and that it was subtle mind control. Like, oh, I'm just helping you. Maybe your shirt's a little too low, or you're too friendly. People don't take you as friendly. They think you're flirting. You spend so much time with your family. My family and I are very, very close. And it's like, maybe you should spend more time with me, you know, the whole leave and cleave thing. So it was little bits and pieces that I'm at that time beginning to question myself and wonder, well, maybe he's right, you know, because he had more experience, you know, in the world than what I had. So maybe I am learning, maybe I'm growing. And it was just subtle things like this. Now, I will say, because a friend of mine, very close friend of mine, had some issues along the same lines, and we both grew up with wonderful fathers in the home. So there's always that question of, well, you came from a family that was a great family, a great father, parents still married. How in the world could you fall into this? Or how can you be tricked into something like this? But again, there are no people who this happens to. This happens to anyone. It can happen to anyone. And that was my story. I guess brainwashed maybe after a while. And again, it was 2 years of that before the actual physical abuse happened. I imagine, as anyone would say, if you were dating for 2 weeks and somebody tried to do something to you, you'd be like, I'm out. That's not gonna happen. But it was a long time. And that's why I think it's so important to be aware of signs, aware of control, aware of things when people try to pull you away from your friends, try and isolate you. They're a little bit too controlling of your conversations. I had several friends that were guys. My life, I like to say, was a little bit like Saved by the Bell on a Cosby Show. It was just kind of like, so I had best friends that were guys. We grew up together, right? Well, those relationships were cut and severed. And because of this situation, because, well, you can't be friends with a guy. And so it's like, and to me, I didn't really think that. I was thinking, oh, wait, well, these guys like me this whole time? That's silly. We've been friends. But, it was just a little bit of different things over a long period of time that will really kind of change your way of thinking, if that makes sense. Luckily, several years into it, I was able to escape, obviously. This was a completely different person. It's not my husband. Let me throw that out there. My husband's wonderful, not him. In case anybody's confused.
Amazing.
In case there's any kind of confusion there. There was one particular day that we had gotten into this argument. We went back to where I was living with my parents' house at the time. My parents were at work at the time, and there was this big fight. And I just remember sitting in a corner in my house. He had gone into the kitchen, and he came back out of the kitchen, and he had this knife in his hand. The knife was about this long. And I was thinking in that moment, like, oh my gosh, this is it. Like, this is it. My parents are going to come home and find me, dead here. This is going to be, the biggest shock. How did this happen? And in that moment, I was like, God, if you can just save me from this situation, I will always share my story. I will always tell people, you have those moments where you're just like, everything clicks and you're just like, I've got so much more life to live. I've got so much more things to do. I've got purpose that I want to live out, And I said that deep in my heart. And then obviously, it didn't go that way. And he turned around and he was like, oh, I'm just kidding. I don't think, that's not a joke, because he came in there so angry. But it was really, the funny thing is it was another year or so before I actually was out of that situation, which, most people say, oh, why would you stay in a situation like that? That's the question everybody asks. You never know what you're going to do until you're actively walking in those shoes. But it was another year or so that I finally was able to get out of that relationship. And now whenever I see people who are walking through the same path, it's almost like this sixth sense. You can just see it. And my heart just breaks and just want to reach out so much and just say, it's okay. Like, you can make it through this. You can get through, get past this.
Yeah. And that's why I wanted you to come and chit chat with us, because we all know that during the pandemic, the percentage of domestic abuse became so high, and it's so tough for the individual who's being abused because they're stuck at home with their abuser. And as you were talking, you mentioned something about brainwashing, where you started doubting yourself. Many times when we're in relationships like this, you assume that the other person is right and you're wrong. And that starts changing you. That crushes your confidence. In your situation, you talked about being isolated from your friends and family, but it truly messes with your brain. And abuse doesn't have to be just physical. There's a lot of other methods of the verbal or just the fact of this individual made you doubt yourself. That by itself is abuse.
But it's mental abuse. And I think you almost have to have the mental abuse there in place before a physical abuse really can start, because most people aren't going to just put up with you just walking straight up and assaulting them. That's just, not going to happen in a relationship situation. So the mental abuse is what takes the longest to get past. And then when I was out of that situation, it was several years before I was able to really open up again. I'd say about 6 or 7 months later, I met my husband, and he was so nice, and I was just, who's really that nice? You know, like I question every single thing about him. You know, I was like, I thought he was a spy. I was thinking all kinds of stuff. You know, I'm a little bit too CSI sometimes, but I thought,
why?
I did. I really did. I'm
For
telling you, I
what?
was convinced.
For your boyfriend, or a spy for the government, or a spy for what?
No, for the boyfriend, not the government, not the government. Let's be even more clear. Yeah, not the government. It's not that serious. It's not that kind of thing. But yeah, I really did. I questioned everything that he did. He would open the doors for me, and he would call. I'm like, who does these kind of things? And I'm telling you, I've seen that in my father my entire life, even now. And so to have seen that and to know that and experience that, it still made me question, because my brain was so warped into, you know, that relationship that I'd been in previously. It took several years. And there was a point where I said to myself, you know what? I've been given another opportunity to live. I've been given another opportunity to live out my purpose and to talk to people. I am not going to be that person that makes someone else pay for all the mistakes of someone else. You know, if you ever driven down the street and seen like those big black buzzards on the side of the road and they just sitting there eating all the dead stuff, you know, I was like, I don't want to be a buzzard. I don't want to be a buzzard that just sits there and just eats off of all the dead stuff that's happened in my life. Like, I want to be an eagle. I want to be a soar. I want to be the eagle that just, like, you know, an eagle can look and see prey 2 miles away because their vision is just that keen. I want to be like that, where you can look at me and not know what I've been through, you know, and that took a lot of healing. That took a lot of time, a lot of prayer. God had to really reshape my heart, because it was a very difficult thing. Yeah. And I didn't really think I could get past that, or I could see past it, or that I could actually ever trust again. And that took a long time. It took 4 years. My husband waited 4 years. 4 years. Like, at that time, I was a youth pastor in the church. He came to the church where we met him, and he helped me with the youth. And he waited 4 years for me to, like, snap out of my madness, you know? And then I was like, you know what? He might be a good guy. Maybe he's not a spy, you know? Like, that's a really good one if you're going to hold out for 4 years, you know? So I decided to, like, just give him a chance. And here we are almost 11 years later, and life is good. Life is good.
Wow.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah.
I wish people would talk more about this stuff. I mean, we like to put a lot of those wins out there for everyone to see, but it's those ones that really cut the deepest, that are so complicated, that are just so deep, and that get avoided most times, that need to be talked about the most, in my opinion. And this is huge. Domestic violence it's a serious issue. You have a lot of strength to share that. That is couldn't have been always that easy to share either, I'm guessing.
No, and I will tell you, it was a good, 6 or 7 years before I really started talking about it, or really speaking up. It was several years before I really opened up and told my parents the truth of what happened, because nobody really wants to say that, especially to your dad. I am a daddy's girl, you know, and no one wants to say this happened. So it takes a while, and it's not easy for people who may be listening now, who might be dealing with this. You know, there is help, but I can understand and see how it's not easy to step up and say something. It's really not. You also question yourself, you know, maybe it's my fault. Maybe I did this, you know, it's not your fault. It's never your fault. And it's important to say something to someone. I didn't want to say anything to someone because I knew I have, like, how do I say this nicely? Because all my friends can see this now. I have crazy friends, you know, like they love on a crazy level. So it's not like you're just going to mention this and then it just be okay.
Get away.
Like, right. No one's going to escape alive. Like, you have to, like, be ready for this to really detonate a bomb, right? So,
well, and that's why it's so hard to tear away too, right? Because that slow play of the reconditioning up here and here is where that kind of mind beep comes in. Like, that's where that that's where that manipulation can get a stronghold. And
Right.
and then by that time you're invested. By that time maybe you've got family, maybe finances are tied up. Maybe
Yes.
you're in a place where your support system's not there. Your family's not around. It's never really that black or white or clear, right? It's always this crazy deep shade of gray, and that keeps coming back and then clouds it, and before you know it, everything is gray or numb.
Right. Right. Right.
That's very terrible and tough to deal with.
And
I
many
want
people have kids.
I want to add to what Rob was saying is becoming emotionally dependent. Like when Megan, you were talking about the day he was holding the knife, it took you a year to leave. So it's easy to question, like, why did it take you a year? But most likely you were emotionally dependent on this person. And it's difficult to leave, not because of money, not because of other things, but we become dependent.
Yes, yes. I also question, not that I thought people doubted me, but he's a very nice person, and so I questioned, would people believe me, because it was something that would be hard to believe, right? Because he wasn't like a temperamental person, right? Like, this was behind closed doors, no one really knew so I would be exposing on a major level, and would people really believe what I'm saying, or question me? So there was that too.
Support system gets stripped away, and then the questioning of how will the message will be received, will you kill the messenger type thing, if that's not enough right there, tacking on everything else, all those little attachments and dependencies, you can understand why this is a tough one to figure out. This isn't easy.
No, it's not easy. And I would say to people who have friends that seem to have pulled away or whatever, ask questions. Or even if you can't ask directly, keep calling. Don't stop calling. Keep texting. Just always be there. Always be available to hear and to listen. Because at some point, they will need you. At some point, they're going to need to talk to somebody. If you have that relationship, ask questions. Don't quit on that person. Keep asking, keep pursuing them, keep loving them, because at some point they really will need you, and they really will need their support system.
Yeah. So Megan, you were talking earlier about the signs. Of course, now you're teaching people about the signs. You mentioned some of them. You mentioned about like self-doubt. You mentioned about this person trying to isolate you from your family and friends. What other signs we need to be careful about?
I would say the manipulation. I'd say, lying on silly things, just silly things that don't really add up, don't make sense. If you have, I like to say now, whether it's like with a guy or an outfit, like if you got doubt, go without, got doubt, get out. If there's a reason to question, ask the questions, dig a little bit deeper. People who are this way are typically very manipulative, very narcissistic. These are things that you look into. Now, does that mean everyone's abusive? No, it doesn't. But it's a flag, and it's something to question, and it's something to really look into. If there's all of a sudden you have someone who's very outgoing, and all of a sudden they're not anymore, and they seem a little bit, ask questions, because when you find the right person that compliments you, it's going to make you flourish, not pull back. Why is that? Look for that and ask. It's important for us to be in each other's business in a respectful way.
What about boundaries? I mean, it seems like they might get stepped over and across and then trampled upon over time. That's again, that slow play. Do you have any tips for like where boundaries maybe are clearer for you now that weren't necessarily set in stone then, so they could make it easier to be manipulated? Do you have any advice or information on that?
Yeah, I would say be confident in who you are. Be confident. Look, none of us are perfect. We all have growing area. We all have room to improve. But don't let anyone bring you down. Our pastor used to say all the time, it's like, don't ever take advice from someone who doesn't have your best interest at heart. If someone's speaking to you and they're giving you constructive criticism, that's one thing. But if someone's tearing you down, someone's saying, you look fat in that's not going to work, or just things that are not edifying and building you up, take note of that. take note of that. Don't allow someone to speak things to you that make you question yourself. You know, these are the little things. And even in friendships, think about that, because people who truly care about you and truly love you aren't trying to tear you down. They're not trying to make you appear smaller than what you really are. They're trying to build you up and encourage you. And if someone's in your life that's doing that, that might be, red flag. No.
Yeah. So how are you using this experience to help you empower other people? What are you doing with this experience?
I am sharing my story. I haven't really connected. I wouldn't say like with an organization of sorts. But anytime I have the opportunity, I'm just here to share my story. There are a lot of organizations here in our area that help speak more on domestic violence, and actually there are places where you can go, which I can leave those comments here after we get off the show later on. But anytime that I have an opportunity, I'm ready to share it. I'm ready to just share that story to people, because just hearing that from someone else means, okay, there's hope. There's hope for me, maybe that I can get out of this. I can escape. I can survive from this situation. And that's powerful, and that means a lot.
Yeah.
What part of, I guess, because you said you don't have to reshape your heart. I mean, were there parts that were kind of tougher to reshape than others? I don't know. That's a good question. I'm just wondering, because that's comment kind of stuck with me.
Yeah, and I will tell. I'm an Enneagram 6, so I am the analytical, the question everything person, right? So going through something like that makes you question everybody, makes you second guess everybody, makes you very super skeptical, and it holds you back. And the truth is, most people are good people. Most people are nice. Most people are not trying to destroy your life or spy. That's just not typically what happens. In my mind, though, everyone's against me. And the silliest thing is, like, I, at that point, even questioned my family, who's the closest thing to me, like, because my mind was so twisted. And there was just time I just had to just lay out before God, and I just had to just cry and just own that I was broken, apologize to my family, because I did things to pull away from them, so it took a lot of time just to heal, to be honest about where I gone wrong with things, and let that healing take place. It took a long time. I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't overnight, and there are still some times where I'm still can be a little bit skeptical of things or situations. And I'm like, stop, you have to just pull that back into, like fishing, just pull it back in, calm it down. My brother will always say, bring it down.
Well, you have
love you, Josh.
Passion, but it's tough to bring it down.
Yeah, it very well can be. And I know, I would never look at Dima and knowing your story, I would never look at you and think all the things that you've been through. But that took a long time for you to become who you are now, and to gain that confidence and strength that you portray now. And it's a beautiful thing.
Thank you. Well, the same thing with Rob. All of us, we have a story. All of us, we have a challenge. Some of us, we talk about it. Others, they hide, they keep it to themselves for now. So we all have experiences that shape who we are.
Yes, 100%. And I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for the goods and the bads, because that's why I am who I am. It's why I can sit here and talk and have these discussions, with people.
Right. So tell us about mompreneurs.
Absolutely. I love talking about them. So Mompreneur Nation, we are an international organization of mompreneurs. If that kind of throws you off a little bit, it's moms who have businesses as well. This started in 2018, And really, it just came out of nowhere. I had just come out of Leadership Baton Rouge, fantastic organization through Breck. And I was sitting there having a meeting. We were talking about all the different things, and how to connect yourself in business. And the lady I was talking to, she mentioned like BNI. And she had said one thing when she said BNI, she said, but they don't have childcare. I was like, ugh. Like the reason why I am an entrepreneur is because I want to be able to call the shots. I want to be at the field days. I want to be at the, do all the things and still be here to make cupcakes and run my own business because I am still a boss. I want to do it both, and I don't want to be questioned in it. And I also don't want to have more excuses to put my kids somewhere else. I said, you know what? There's just got to be other women around here who feel the same way I do. I said, I think I'm just going to start my own group. And she just kind of laughed, and then I laughed. And like, no, really, I think I'm just going to start my own group. And now we're a little over 2,000 moms later. Like there are lots of moms who feel the same way that I do. And in the last year, millions of people and women particularly lost their jobs, left the workforce, and are now working from home and doing this, living this life and pursuing entrepreneurship because we don't have to choose. We don't have to choose between being a mom and being a boss. We can do it all. And that's what our group is about. And we support each other. We were meeting monthly. We're going to start meeting monthly again now that the COVID has kind of simmered down just a little bit. We're not going to have 400 people in a room with no mask.
Yeah, I'm so glad about that.
I just wanted to calm your nerves and just let you know it's not going to happen. Yeah, we're not going there. But we are going to start meeting up again soon. But the goal is to have a location and a meetup in every city in the U.S. So
around the world too.
And yes, let's take the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
let's take the world.
Why stop here? I think you'll have a network you can tap into. Oh my goodness. So, yeah. I mean, this came from a talk.
This came from a talk. Can you believe that? We're just sitting there chatting. And at that time, I had my second child was a little over 1. And so my hands were kind of full. And so I just kept pushing the meeting back. So finally, I was like, I'm going to just stop pushing her off because she probably thinks I'm crazy. Let's just meet. So we met at Java Mama. What was Java Mama on Bluebonnet? And I told her, I'm like, if you want to meet, this is how we're going to have to meet because, got this little one. And she said, okay, great. So we sat there and we were talking for about an hour. And then boom, it was like, I think I want start my own business, start my own thing. And that weekend, I bought the domains and set up the Facebook page. And I connected with Tiani Davis, who's fantastic. She's over Baton Rouge Family Fund, which was Baton Rouge Moms at the time. And she's like, I love this. I want to help you launch. She helped me launch it. And here we are.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty. We have over 2,000 moms. We have a group on Facebook, and we also have a membership that's a paid membership where we have Mastermind Mondays every Monday morning. We connect, we empower each other. And I just love it. I love being able to connect with them, support them. And, I was telling Dima before you hopped on, we have there'samomforthat.com. Fantastic. So if you need a home organizer or if you need a realtor, there's a momforthat.com. You like that?
Love that.
Wow. Love it. And so let's talk about your work. So you are a brand. I wrote it down, but I messed it up.
Brandologist.
Okay. You're a brandologist. So tell us about what you do.
So I help build brands for businesses, and that includes websites, includes PR. My background is news. I worked for Channel 9 for several years. So I love getting into the PR aspect of things. So it is websites, it's PR, it's marketing, it's all the things that it takes to put your brand in the forefront and for people to see you. My brother and I have a few clients together. My brother also does PR. And some clients we work together on, which is so much fun. I enjoy that a lot. But that's what I do. I'm a brandologist, and I love to encourage people, and I love to build websites and do all the marketing things and smash those things together. I'm the best friend your business could ask for. Your business bestie.
That is all. Business bestie.
Yeah.
Love that. Oh my goodness, love that. That was a good one. So then What's your favorite part of the branding? Because that's a lot of things. Is it like creating the logo? Is it the name? You know, for getting the graphics out, or is it the brain? What is it about those initial? Because me and Dima like this part too, and it's just so much fun being creative here. So, what is your jam? What do you like to do in this space?
Really, to be honest, I love video, and I love adding video to websites, and just like, I think it just separates and it just takes it up a level. I love when people look at their site and they're like, wow, like that wasn't what they were expecting. You know, it's like, oh, wow. I love that moment. I love whenever they are really proud of their brand, you know, building the graphics that support that. I love it all. I love being able to just be the wind behind the wings, underneath the wings. There you go. Make them smile, make them look
We all
good.
need that. We all need wind to help our wings.
Yes.
Yeah.
We do. It's fun. It's great.
So Megan, I got a question for you. If you're going to do a business lunch, where are you going to go? I
I'm
mean,
going-
pre-COVID. Let's just say pre-COVID. Let's make it safe.
Look, I'm going to J. Alexander's because it's my favorite place in the world.
Ooh, all right. The shoestring fries, though, right?
Yes. That and that steak Maui.
I never had those.
You've
Wow.
got to have the fries. I know it's like, it's J. Alexander's. Why would you ever want Get
the
yourself
fries.
fries.
And also make sure you get the spinach dip that oh mercy, it's so good.
They have that like prime rib sandwich too. That's to die
Yes.
for. You just can't really get a bad meal there, but that's
Not one.
That's your go-to though. That's your go-to.
It's my go-to. I'm going to be honest. It's my go-to for pretty much anything that has to do with a meal. Yeah. So when my friends are like, "Hey, let's go out," I'm like, "Okay, but I'm only going to one place." So.
Oh, wow.
Do you have a breakfast spot? I don't know why. I must be getting hungry. Do you have a breakfast spot? Do you ever meet clients for like breakfast or anything?
I haven't, because usually in the morning it's like, let's get this kid to school, let's get this child. But normally if I'm going somewhere, it's something simple like coffee or something. I'm a big IHOP fan. Not a lot of people are big IHOP fans. My husband's more of a Waffle House person. I
knew I liked him. Ooh, amazing.
Yeah, he's a Waffle Houser. So, but I really like the pancakes at IHOP.
Okay. Did you buy into their whole burger hop thing?
No, I didn't understand why that's happening. Like, if you've got a good pancake, why are we doing this?
Yeah. Messing brand.
Just stick with what you're doing well, okay? Let's not throw a wrench in there. Just keep it simple. Keep it real simple. Yeah. Rob, you went to the beach last week, you said?
I did, and it was okay.
We're going next week.
You're gonna love it.
I haven't been. I found this really fancy hat, you know, because I'm just going out there to be cute. I'm really not in the sand. But I didn't want to get it because I felt like it was going to cover my eyes, and I can't keep up with all these children, you know, if my eyes are covered.
Yeah, you don't want to. Everyone on the beach doesn't need to see crazy eyes when you're scanning the perimeter and making sure everyone's safe. There's no undertow. Yeah.
Exactly.
Are there gators here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm going to bring a drone and just kind of fly it over just to make sure it's no sharks. Okay, kids, you can go now. Okay, great. Yeah.
So you're a perfect example of the helicopter mom.
You know, I am. I'm working on it, but yeah, that's me. That's me.
I'm a drone mom.
Drone, yeah. I was trying to make a play like Drone Daddy or something like that, but I couldn't mix it up for the mom part. But helicopter mom, drone mom, you know.
Yeah. Let me just make sure. Let me check everything. You know, look, I told when I came home today, my husband, we went to the store. I was telling him, you know, we were riding in the buggy and somebody walked up and just like ran their fingers through my child's hair. And it's like, oh, we're so like,
what?
Why does that keep happening? Dang it. Like, stop, please. I know this is Louisiana.
Oh.
I know everybody's nice, but don't touch kids. That's not okay, ever. So I feel like I'm ready for the beach. Like I'm watching.
Did they fall out of the cart when you stopped it?
No, she had her head turned and he just walked by. Oh,
Oh.
stop.
Well, that does not sound like a a relaxing vacation.
No, the beach is not a relaxing vacation with kids. This is not a relaxing.
Period.
This is a trip. There's a trip and then there's vacation.
Yeah.
This is a trip. This is not vacation.
Oh, see, there you go.
Yeah. Big difference.
And there's also sand, because I still have not, all the sand that's still in my truck is still there.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be there for another month.
It'll be there forever, honestly.
Yeah, it'll be there until next year when you go.
Yes, I'm fully prepared for all of that. And, I'm cool with it. It's almost like Disney World. Like when you go to Disney World, it's fantastic, but it's not a vacation. It's not a rest.
It's stress and you're paying for it. I can't wait to do it.
Me either. It's the best stress ever. I agree. It's intense.
I got to be honest, though. It is tough with the kiddos anywhere around water. Always just like trying to watch your six, trying to watch theirs. It is stressful. I mean, you can't really ever let your guard down. And I do, like, I look at some of the parents that are able to do that and unwind, and I'm like, man, I really want to do that. But something back here is like survival still. I still got my limbic brains trying to keep me alive from all the saber-toothed tigers and shit. Yeah. And I'm trying to just like make sure offspring's still good.
Yeah. Are they live? Are they breathing? Yes.
100%. Back to scanning the perimeter. And if you just can't let your guard down, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm helicopter dad. I'm drone dad.
It's not just you. It's not at all just you. It is. Yeah, that is the way it is. And you have to watch, like, it's never stopping. My husband said last week, he's like, yeah, man, we're going to be able to take a nap on the beach. I'll take a nap. Then you take a nap. I'm like,
nap what?
Y'all are going to be backed up like all those Vietnam movies where y'all are sitting back to back like this.
Watching just like this. Yes.
You got watch.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
So Megan, what would you like to leave our viewers with? What is one thing you want to share with the viewers as well?
Childcare would be great. I think that was what she was going to say.
About everything. For you. About everything we talked about. Doesn't have to be about holiday or vacation or all that.
You know what I'd like to say? I'm like, live every second to the most. To the most. We're not guaranteed another tomorrow. We are not always guaranteed anything, really. Like every single day is a gift. Even the stressful parts are a gift. I'm trying to remind myself of this all the time. And I said this to our moms recently in a group, like, even the stressful parts of parenting, it's a gift. Sometimes it feels like a lot of a gift, but it's still a gift. It's still something. And you have to embrace every single moment for what it is. Just an opportunity when you're stressed out, even with your family. I'm not with my family. I'm just making that, because I know they're watching. I'm going to get text.
Watching.
Never.
Just in case.
Yeah. Never. But, it's a privilege to have them in your life. It's a privilege to have family. It's a privilege to have your parents. It's all of it. It's just a privilege. And keep that in the back of your mind. Just be grateful for everything, grateful for every moment, because we never know when those moments are going to run out.
Right. Wow. Love it.
Well said.
Good. Well, Megan, it was wonderful to chit chat with you. This was great. And I'm so thankful that you shared your story. I know it's not easy talking about these stories. Yeah. They bring memories and but I'm glad that you shared. And I hope a lot of our viewers are going to benefit from this and would encourage them to do something about it.
I hope so. I appreciate the opportunity to talk with you guys. I've been watching you guys for a while. So I'm like, yay, I get to be cool and be on the show.
Yeah. I remember when you and I met, you said, oh, I've been watching the Chit Chat. And I'm like, this is so great. I didn't know people watched it. But other than the people.
We know there's 3 of us.
Yeah, we do. Oh, that's for sure. That's sure. And my brother's watching too. I saw him comment on there. So we got 4.
That is so cool.
Sup, Jay Boogie? Good to see you. Kind of. Megan, this was awesome. Thank you for being so strong and sharing this too, and like being the light that others can kind of probably see, like a beacon of hope to be able to reach out or use some of the resources on all the sides of the fence, relationship wise, being a mom, being an entrepreneur, you know, anything that you can also bring to the table if someone's business is out there that could be used in some brandology. You know, I feel like there's really a whole lot you can offer, and that's why, to be quite honest, you're an amazing guest. And I've always kind of also wanted to talk to you. We've never had the chance to have like
I know. I was gonna at some point like send you a message like, hey, let's have coffee, even though I don't know who you are, but you know, let's do it.
We're gonna do the coffee that you don't do, and it'll be fine and fun and awesome. But you know, also thanks for giving all those moms and entrepreneurs, those mompreneurs out there, you know, a support system as well. It's needed. And you seem to be the one for the job. Very excited for your success on that too.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
So
well, thank you so much. Y'all be good. And we're going to catch y'all next week, I think, for our next show.
Yeah. So let me share a few things. So tomorrow, Rob and I were meeting at Magpie at 3:30. So if anyone wants to join, come on and say hello. We're going to be talking about the future of Chit Chat. But we would love to see people, and we would love to chit chat in person with you. And also next week, if anyone wants to learn about artificial intelligence, that's what our guest is going to be talking about next week. It's going to be so interesting, and he's going to do a great job. And the reason I know is because I coach him. So I know he's going to do a good job. But it's fascinating, all the information that he's going to share with us. So join us and chit chat with us about artificial intelligence.
Yeah, come watch Noah talk, because look, if we're talking about intelligence, whether it's artificial or homegrown, we're going to need it for next week's show. Okay. And this is going to be a fun one. So see you then, everybody. Have a good one.
Bye.